Cardi B just melted down online, and Offset fired back publicly, pushing against the Deadbeat label as their divorce fight collides with the rollout of her new album. The internet thinks this is just another messy celebrity breakup, but there's a deeper money and PR machine at work that explains the timing, the tone, and why both sides are suddenly performing their case in public days before release week. Tonight, I'm laying out the receipts, the timeline, and the incentives behind the drama. And yes, we're naming names and dates. Cardi calls Offset a deadbeat. Offset plays it cool, and the world picks sides. But the common belief misses what actually moves the needle: public leverage in a divorce where custody, image, and revenue all intersect with a high-stakes campaign for her long-awaited sophomore album. The superior reality is that both sides are fighting on two fronts at once: the court of law and the court of public opinion. And when the court of public opinion can add millions of streams, both camps start scripting in public. Here's the plan for this video. First, what exactly did Cardi say, and when did this escalate? Second, how did Offset respond, and what does his response signal about custody, cash, and contract optics? And third, why now? Why is this exploding the week before Cardi drops her album, and who stands to benefit from the noise? I'm going to answer all three, with receipts from filings, on-record interviews, and the promotion calendar, plus a quick read from an entertainment law lens and a PR strategist playbook. The Deadbeat allegation didn't appear out of thin air. It followed a year of escalating public skirmishes and one key legal move. The story: after Cardi filed for divorce last year, the case went quiet until late May, when an amended response surfaced showing Offset seeking joint custody and spousal support. According to coverage at the time, that request landed like a grenade in the fandom conversation, and within 24 hours, Cardi lit up a live session venting about bills, logistics, and emotional labor as a parent. In early June, recap pieces picked up her claim that she'd been shouldering six-figure monthly costs: private school, security, nannies, tutoring, even a chef, while accusing Offset of going missing for long stretches. It wasn't a vague subtweet. It was an itemized portrait of a lifestyle and the price tag that comes with it: payout. That set the frame. Cardi wasn't just emotional. She was establishing a measurable standard for parental participation and putting a dollar sign on support. Offset just shifted his posture in a way casual viewers might miss. The story: this week, asked directly on camera, he signaled peace, emphasized co-parenting, and publicly supported Cardi's upcoming album. No shade, no counter-accusations. On the surface, that reads like maturity. Underneath, it's also strategy. In a custody context, "I want peace, we've got kids to take care of" is not only a message to fans, it's a message that looks good in discovery. It positions him as the stabilizer, while avoiding line-by-line rebuttals that could be disproven later. It also points to a larger play. By refusing the villain role and boosting her project, he undercuts the narrative that he's jealous of her moment, or that he's obstructing the bag. Payout: he didn't just clap back, he reframed, pushing against Deadbeat, without getting trapped in a fact-checking minefield. The clock is the tell. The story: Cardi's album is officially dated for September 19th, a hard circle on every publicist's wall. For 7 years, she's lived with the weight of the sophomore myth. Can she follow the cultural earthquake of her debut? Every label knows controversy is a fuel source, especially if you can aim it. You don't have to believe there's a cynical mastermind to see the rhythm. In June, a heavy emotional reveal and a claims and costs monologue. In late August, Offset releases his own project. Now, in September, we get a surge of public statements that reinforce Cardi as the protagonist battling through betrayal and burden. The receipts are visible in the promo stunts, street team TikToks, tongue-in-cheek self-marketing, and a title that literally calls the question: am I the drama? This is packaging meeting pain. Payout: the timing keeps Cardi at the center of the universe 6 days before the drop, and it dares you not to press play. People think Deadbeat is just an insult. In a high-net-worth split, it's a courtroom word with leverage. The story: family courts don't determine moral character, they determine best interests for kids. That often comes down to two buckets: care participation and financial capacity. Cardi has been narrating both: hours, staff, school, security, and an alleged lack of contribution. Offset's filings, public stances, and request for joint custody, plus the choice to say peace on camera, aim to show involvement and reasonableness. An entertainment attorney would warn both sides that anything said online can land on a courtroom monitor. If you claim a parent is absent, dates and documentation matter. If you claim you're present, texts, pickups, and payments matter. Payout. Deadbeat as a PR label is loud, but as a legal claim, it lives or dies on calendars and receipts. What about the money? Not gossip, the business math. The story. If you're Cardi heading into a release after a long gap, your three biggest revenue levers are streaming, touring or residencies, and brand deals. Public sympathy and cultural heat move all three. An album framed as survival and self-definition can spike streams, particularly if the lyrics reference real life. Fans hunt for subs and quotables. Partners like fashion and beauty love a comeback arc. They can live with messy. They hate apathy. For Offset, there's a different calculus. He just launched his own project. A scorched earth campaign against the mother of his children risks alienating shared fans and brands, and it can boomerang in court. Showing public support costs nothing and inoculates against the villain cut. Payout. The incentives aren't symmetrical, but they are rational. Cardi benefits from controlled chaos. Offset benefits from controlled calm. Didn't Cardi once defend him? That twist matters. The story. Earlier in the year, amid reports labeling Offset unsupportive, Cardi publicly pushed back on the Deadbeat tag, then later reversed course after new filings and flare-ups. Why mention this? Because it proves how reactive this ecosystem is to new information and new hurts. The narrative is not a straight line, it's a heartbeat monitor. When Offset sought spousal support, outrage spiked. When Cardi hinted at the costs she covers, empathy spiked. When Offset said, "We got kids to take care of," respect spiked. Viewers are being trained to follow along episodically the same way they follow a prestige drama, except these episodes land on live platforms and, occasionally, in sworn documents. Payout. Remembering that earlier defense sharpens the current accusation. It tells you this isn't a press strategy invented in a vacuum. It's a running tally of perceived betrayals. What's actually new this week, besides the noise? The story. On camera, Offset chose on the record peace, a supportive tone toward Cardi's album, and an emphasis on co-parenting. That's a departure from the typical tit-for-tat you'd expect before release week. It also bolsters a likely legal stance, joint custody, shared responsibility, and non-interference with her professional opportunities. Meanwhile, Cardi's public comments, insisting she's carried the financial and emotional load, are also a tell. They set the stage for a potential future ask. If she seeks primary custody, the "I've been doing it" narrative is already baked in, with dollar amounts the public can visualize. Payout. Offset's peace line is less clapback and more chess move. Cardi's cost breakdown is less rant and more ledger. The lyric sheet is part of the evidence pile. The story. Cardi's comeback single this summer baked real-life barbs into the record, nodding to a new love interest and firing strays at old wounds. That's not just artistry, it's memo writing in 4/4 time. Every reference creates an interpretive layer fans will debate and press will aggregate. Do lyrics matter in court? Not really, unless they admit something concrete. Do they matter in PR? Absolutely. They keep Cardi's voice louder than any quote, and they make journalists do half the promo work by decoding. Payout. The music itself is the most effective narrative control she has, and it doubles as a shield against being defined solely by the divorce. So, who's winning? The story. In the court of attention, Cardi is winning week of because the album date is looming and the conversation orbiting her name is thunderous. But attention is not verdict. Offset's new posture may age well in both courtrooms if he sustains it. No sparring, no mud. If receipts exist showing visitation, payments, or logistics, a calm tone plus documentation beats a fiery monologue every time. If they don't, then Cardi's itemized list hardens from gossip into narrative fact. The win condition for Cardi is a clean debut week and a sympathetic maternal brand glow that sells tour dates. The win condition for Offset is credibility as a present father and a working artist who can be in the same frame without being the antagonist. Payout. Both can win financially, but only one can win the story, and right now, Cardi holds the mic. What's the immediate next beat viewers should watch? The story. 3 things. 1. Any court calendar updates, hearings, motions, or mediation dates, because those often trigger new public statements. 2. Offset's consistency. Does he keep saying peace, or does a stray post break the truce? And 3. Cardi's release week interviews, are they lyric-focused, or do they poke the bear with more family talk? Each of those sends a signal to lawyers, labels, and fans. Payout. Watch the calendar, not the comments. The calendar predicts the next blow-up.
Here's the bottom line.
Cardi's meltdown and Offset's pushback aren't random. They're moves on a board where custody optics, brand positioning, and release week momentum all matter. The receipts we walked through tell a coherent story. A May's spousal support ask that hardened lines. A June series of itemized claims that reframed support as six-figure logistics. An August album drop from Offset. And now a September week where he publicly embraces calm while Cardi's campaign embraces heat. That's not chaos. That's choreography. In celebrity divorces that overlap with album cycles, the truth rarely arrives in one piece. It drips through filings, interviews, lyrics, and the silences between them. If you want the real picture, follow the documents and the dates, not the decibels. And if you're wondering why this feels like a season finale, it's because for both camps, it is. New season starts on release day. If you want more breakdowns like this, with the receipts, the timelines, and the money trail, tap into our fresh Celebrity Tea playlist next. It's the only way to see how today's cliffhanger fits the bigger playbook every publicist and attorney already knows by heart.